Hello everyone, how you doing? And you're welcome to this episode of Inclusion Rugby, the review with myself, Aidan Raftery, and of course Alan Craughwell from Mixed Ability Sport Ireland. And later on in the discussion, we'll also have other people that were involved, so we'll be talking to them later on. But I suppose it's nice to be able to talk to yourself, Alan, and reflect on what was a hugely significant and very successful tournament that was held on Saturday in Buccaneers Rugby Club. And it has to be said, the facilities and everything went off smoothly, and it was great to have the three pitches, and the facilities were great, and the volunteers were brilliant as well, and it just brought to fruition, I suppose, all the hard work that yourself and yourself and others have put into it.
Yeah, it's great to be here again, and lovely to be kind of looking back on what was a momentous occasion for Buccaneers RFC themselves, and for mixed ability, and for rugby, and for Connacht rugby, and generally the Irish rugby scene. And it was great to have the IRFU down there, and the IRFU TV down as well too, captured, and a number of other people that were capturing with it, and yourself. You had the likes of even Athlone Community Radio, who were great. They live broadcast for the full day, and give commentary to the local people on the matches, and people who might have tuned in their way and said, "Oh, what's this?" So it's all about that. For mixed ability sport, and mixed ability rugby. No more than yourself, Aidan, I can tell you all about this. I can show you what it is, but it's until you actually experience it yourself, then you don't understand. And let's say to say, Aidan, you're hooked at this stage.
That's it. And I suppose really it was good for me, from my point of view, and indeed the listeners' point of view as well. We got both sides of it. We got the lead up to it. And obviously I interviewed you a couple of weeks ago, and I played it on Rosfm, and then I played it again on the day before the tournament. But it's also good, like I said at the start there, to reflect on it and look back on it. And I mean, from everyone, including yourself, Niall Quinn, the referees, the volunteers, and the players themselves, the families, and I suppose the clubs from all four provinces. And you made the point as well that as a result of the tournament on Saturday, there's now mixed ability rugby in all four provinces, which is a huge significance, isn't it?
Massive. So I think of where it started out with 13 guys one wet February evening back in 2023 down here in Cork, and to think that all them 13 guys have now created a movement within rugby within Ireland. And it was great to hear Michael Cleary, who's the former chairperson from Buccaneers RFC. And Michael is around rugby for years and years. His wife is also involved in swimming. And I actually knew her from swimming. She's involved with for many years, and I would have came through the ranks of swimming against maybe her son and other lads. But it's just people who have seen sport, who have seen the development of sport, particularly rugby, where rugby is perceived to be an elitist game, and probably the game of boarding schools, be it Garbly where I went there, or or Blackrock, or various schools like that, and it seems to that, but it's far from that. And I think people need to get the perception of that out of their heads, that the likes of sport, no matter what the sport is, it's available to anybody who turns up to a local rugby club, if it's Roscommon Gales, if it's the soccer club, if it's Craig's, whatever, the athletics club or whatever. Everybody's welcome. It just means you have to make the effort and step into that sphere, and that's what we've done with mixed ability. We've allowed the opportunity for people that wouldn't normally have the chance. And when I say that wouldn't normally have the chance, I both mean people with and without disabilities. So those that have never played the game and would like to have taken up the game or taken up a sport in their adulthood, but like getting in at a senior level or getting in at a junior level, it's probably beyond their skill sets and beyond their commitment levels. And then you have people who have disabilities who just never dreamt of actually being able to just go down to the local club and join the team. And you saw all shapes, all sizes, and all abilities. You saw people who were obviously clearly had a disability, and to people that you probably would have, it's not visible, it's hidden disability. And I think it's very important to highlight that not everybody that presents at a rugby club or sports club would present with an obvious disability, and whether they choose to share that or not, that's their prerogative. But we have to view everybody as equal and meet people where they're at. And I think that's important. And in terms of what this has done for mixed ability sport and mixed ability rugby and the IRFU, it's given us another little bit of a platform to kind of show proof of concept, show that this works. As Mike clearly said, that we now have the full circle of the rugby family. We have men's rugby, women's rugby, tag rugby, youths rugby, minis rugby. We have veterans, and we have mixed ability. And I think he very clearly made that point, that like he was very happy to see that. And for a man that has been decades in the sport at an administration level, running clubs, he has seen, like he has seen people come and go from the sport. And I think this is for somebody that's been that's a fantastic compliment for this. It's a compliment to say that, where a purist would look at the game and it's about winning, and next thing they get the idea, okay, this isn't about winning, it's about everybody being involved. And to leave Athlone that day with them comments are just absolutely gold dust, and it's something that's to behold. And the other thing is just, look, you couldn't get away from the smiles and the faces, and like it pissed rain for the first half of the day. and there was guys there, and I because I free transferred myself to a number of teams.
Yeah, you spread yourself thin there, all right. And yeah, you played against Buccaneers then in the last game for Sunday as well, which is your club at the moment.
With them, played against them. I played with De La Salle. And do you know what? It was just about kind of the guys at Bucks were, I suppose, apprehensive at the start of what way do we run this? How do we get out? So I suppose I reassured them that they were playing a game of rugby. There's a number of different calls in terms of easy ball and just bring the structure into the game. The one thing about that really works well, I think, for mixed ability rugby is a structured game. You move forward, you move back, you move left, you move right, and you've always somebody beside you. Unlike, I suppose, Gaelic games or football, where you have your man-marked positions and you're in a position within the field. Now, obviously, at a higher level, inter-county level, the Gaelic and senior levels Gaelic game or Gaelic football is a lot different because it does follow patterns. But at a lower level, like it is literally your full forward, full back, and your half back and your half forward. You stay within your little, and you run around and you run over and back, but you're not running with somebody that's actually going to talk to you and tell you what to do.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. And look, I also think about mixed ability sport. And I also think about pure coaches and sports coaches and what they could actually learn from mixed ability, and what they could learn from the level of communication that happens on the pitch. It's something that if it was brought into any level, elite level sport, any of them athletes would really benefit from that level of coaching. So, for example, when you're playing mixed ability rugby, you not only have to be aware about the man beside you or the lady beside you, left or right, but you also have to be aware of who's in front of you, and that's from the other team. And so you're constantly scanning and communicating, because you're talking to the person beside you, you're talking to the person in front of you, and maybe you're talking to the person ahead of you who's on a different team. Whether it's somebody that might be a little bit rambunctious and like, take it easy, this person can't take it in, or if it's somebody that's coming towards you, they're a deficit, you're like, come to me. And if that was to be, most sports people like literally are out of breath and can't even look past their nose when they're on a field. The difference in good and great is great sports people have that extra level of perception and depth and understand. They can see a couple of moves ahead of the other person, so they can see gaps, they can see things, because that's their awareness is of that level. So I'm not saying that we're elite athletes, but mentally, physically, I'm definitely not. But at a mental level, yeah, mixed ability is doing that. It really is. Like, so like if there's any coaches that are listening out there, and any inter-county coaches, I want to sit down and have a chat, because this is fantastic. It's something that they could bring into their own high-level game for their own athletes, because it definitely would benefit. And in saying that, like, yeah, last week we had guys who had played under 18s, All Ireland, Irish internationals. We had one ex-Scottish international, albeit his jersey is a good few years old. But like, these are people, and we had guys that played with academies, or played and definitely played at All Ireland League level. And them guys, we like Dara, Tide leader. Tide was hopped onto the pitch for a little bit of the time, and Tide
even referees played for some teams. Lewis, for example, one of the referees, I was talking to him, and he played for a few different teams. And another good thing, I mean, it was a great way of bringing rugby to the people, I suppose, would be a good way of putting it. But also two other kind of significant things which might escape people's notice, other than yours and mine, would be the fact that there was a female referee on the day as well, and she played for Buccaneers as well. And also there was a women's match as well, which was great to see as well.
So, like, in terms of that, obviously with mixed ability, we follow World Rugby rules. So men's teams are male and female grades. So she would have refed the game there, and helped with the refing of that game. And it was just great for all refs, no matter what their gender is, just to get a run out and just understand the game a bit deeper, because then they're able to just be available to teams when we go and look for games. So if you go back into the branch and you go back into the say the MAR or the kind of referees branch, if teams are looking for games and they're looking to pick up, at least then they go down to the sheet, and some of the refs will stick up their hands and say, I've refed a mixed ability game, I'm okay to do that. Whereas previous, refs would have been, okay, I don't understand the laws of the game, I'm nervous to do this. So the more exposure that the refs have, and we're after developing a big crew of refs that like literally will travel anywhere around the world for us, because they get so much enjoyment out of it. And you have to remember, they're after being through a hard season of reffing. This is their downtime. This is the time they're supposed to be so away from rugby. And reffing is a very lonely job. And I'd have to say, big thank you to all the refs, because without referees and officials, there is no game. And that's simple as. So, like, again, as this, I'm encouraging mixed ability rugby, I'm also encouraging everybody to get involved in sport, and especially from the official side and that kind of stuff, because we need people that will do that. And I would also say that right now, that anybody that steps across the line to officiate a game has the utmost respect of all mixed ability rugby players. And I think that needs to go filter down through sport, that they're giving up their time, and it needs to be fun for them as well too.
That's it. And I suppose looking at it from your point of view, as I said, leading up to the thing, people might say, you turn up on the day and you play the matches. But I suppose for people like yourself and, Niall Quinn, David McKay as well, and I suppose Buccaneers Rugby Club as well, a lot in the lead up to the tournament for the 3 weeks leading up to it, and indeed on the day, a lot of organisation would have went into it as well. Could you tell us a bit more about that? Because I suppose the pressure is really on in the last couple of days, isn't it?
Yeah, look, things like this, it's almost the anticlimax is almost the event.
Yeah.
Right, because it's the work that goes in behind it. It's like the duck in the water, and the legs are going really fast. And to be fair, I have to credit Niall Quinn. He was a powerhouse behind this, really. I approached him. He came down to Cork to look at the tournament, and we stayed in touch after it. And I remember it was around Christmas time. I was up home in Ballinasloe, and popped over to Bucks, and we had a chat, and we met a couple of the committee guys, and just said, look, this is the possibility. And we could do this if you want to do it, and they took it on board. To be fair, like, for a club that has never experienced mixed ability and then taking on a tournament. They were stepping into the unknown, and it's way outside the comfort zone, way outside the comfort zone. But I think we showed, and Niall's blind faith, and I suppose his determination. Yeah, he can ring you a good bit, like, but that's, look, I really appreciate that like, you know, that there is motivation beyond rugby that Niall looks at, and he looks at, like, not only his own family but other families that are in any kind of a situation, that the more we can do as a society to improve outcomes for people that, you know, historically were probably, you know, kept away from society for being in the front view, that, you know, there is hope for the future. There's hopes for parents, you know, like, nobody wants to go into Portiuncula or you know, the University Hospital in Galway and come out and be told that their son or daughter is not going to achieve milestones that other kids will. And that's kind of where this goes. Like, it goes beyond just the game of rugby. It gives people hope, and it gives parents hope that there are people out there that are doing things that, like, are beyond their wildest dreams that they would ever hope for their son or daughter. And that's what the likes of Niall are doing. That's what the likes of, you know, that the IRFU have bought into, that Connacht Rugby with Luke have brought into, that, like, this game, albeit it's a game of rugby, its significance and importance to individuals is far beyond a World Cup or the Six Nations or the Triple Crown that was there on display, which was fantastic. Like, you know, people got to lift them cups on Saturday. Like, that was,
Yeah.
how cool was that? You know, like, literally, that's not what everybody gets to do. Like, you know, so them little experiences and them little bits of normality for people who, you know, their own day-to-day life could be chaos because of maybe the services or disabilities or services they're not getting. That, like, you know, if we can just do things that are normal, it really goes a long way. And so that's why, like, it's so good that people get behind stuff like this.
And of course, as well as that, for the players themselves, you know, people with disabilities and people with special needs. I've met, like, last week when I was doing a program on the tag rugby. It's kind of, you know, for the players themselves. You know, they are learning life skills as well in the game, like how to work as part of a team. You know, I suppose peripheral vision, all these kind of things that can be brought into, that they can take from sport and bring into their personal lives and home lives, and indeed in a lot of cases working lives as well.
So what this does, right, is for most people who have a disability, in general, you're told what you can't do. And I suppose we've kind of put two fingers up to that.
Exactly. And well done. Well done to everyone for that.
And said, look, come on, you need to get on. Like, you know, so you've seen that in mixed ability on Saturday, that there's more encouragement than there is negativity. So there's more of, like, show me what you can do, and we'll work what you got. You know, we'll meet you where we are, and we'll go from there. Rather than, okay, you're James and you have a disability. Okay, I'm going to have to, like, understand your disability first before I can actually, you can understand this game. No, put on the jersey, tie up your boots. If you can't tie your boots, somebody will tie them bloody for you, and stick in the gum shield there. All right, you're on, and we'll deal with the fallout after that. And I think if we can all have that little bit of more, how to say, kind of asset-based approach to everything that we do in our lives, well, then everybody has a value, and nobody has nobody's looking to see what they can take or extract out of that value. They're looking at the value of the individual. They're looking at the person as a human being, not as James with a disability. So they're not looking at disability first. And I think if we can take that over, then everything's possible. Like, geez, mixed ability and any kind of inclusive sport can work in any club. If there's a will, there's a way. It just needs people that, like Niall, that will champion it and support it and drive it.
And hopefully from this now, maybe, I'll be sharing this on YouTube and things like that, playing it on Rosfm as well. Hopefully from that, maybe other clubs, it'll expand out to other clubs, and other clubs will take up the baton as well, and maybe they might set it up themselves as well. But I suppose really, like myself, I had never actually seen it apart from videos that were on YouTube. So I was really excited to go along on the day and not just be physio at it, but also to kind of meet other people, and it was nice to actually be actually there and see it and be part of it and be involved in it, seeing the referees, the volunteers, everyone, as you said, giving up their days. But other people like Niall Harney, there's a lot of other people, and they flat out said, look, I don't know what's involved, but there was other people, we say that was from other teams that was with us, and they kind of helped out. And then throughout the day, then myself and Niall and others kind of said, oh, right, so this is what you do in that case, and that's what you do. So it was great learning. And I suppose, the next time then there is one, we'll be more aware. And I suppose looking forward to it, looking forward as well. What are the goals for the future with regards to this? Is it's going to be a yearly event, or what?
That's what we'll hopefully stick this on the calendar, get it within the rugby season, because it was a little bit late in the season, to be honest. And the likes of Niall, fair play to him. Good job it was raining, so because if it was dry, you wouldn't have seen him, because he'd have to go out and do the silence.
Yeah.
For Niall to say what he said, and for Niall with his experience of rugby, having gone to Roscrea and played with Buccaneers, he's a rugby man, and he's a rugby man through and through, and he got it. It didn't take him long to get it, but he got it, and he thoroughly enjoyed it. So I'd love to. Hopefully, we'll keep Niall going and get that, and he'll hopefully be a driving force with the other Niall around Buccaneers to keep this going. So I suppose what our hopes and our aspirations for all of this is that other teams will see it and see this as a possibility. And if they want to do that, what I would do is encourage them to contact their spirit officer within their province, or contact me directly. Aidan, you can leave the details in the show notes for after. And it is just, as I said, there's so many people there. What you saw on Saturday was so many people that had the experience, that were willing to chat to anybody and give the little bit of advice, give the little pointers. But it was all bringing it back to the whole concept of mixed ability sports is that the least interference of the laws and the rules of the game is possible. And what that does, it allows the likes of Niall Harney to go, all right, so this is exactly what it is. It's just a bit slower form of veterans or junior rugby. I know what it is. I'm comfortable. Rather than bringing them into a game that is totally alien to them and a whole set of new rules, I think that's where would turn somebody off. So throughout the day, he was able to pick it up. And by the end of the day, when Buccaneers defeated the world champions, he knew exactly what to do with his tactics. I probably
nothing personal, nothing personal, Alan. It was just.
I literally told them all the plays at the very first game when they started playing De La Salle. So it's great to know somebody listened to me. So it's fantastic. Look, Aidan, and for yourself and for all the people that volunteered, huge thank you. A big thanks to the club as well too for getting involved with Buccaneers and all the others that were there. The guide dogs and the lady that brought over the kind of the tent, which was there for people to relax, or if it got too intense. So that was all there, and just it was to all the teams that made the effort. You make the effort, you pay for a bus, and you travel hours to get there, and and we've learned a bit as well too from it. And we know that we'll make improvements for the next round and the next one as well too. So look, the future is good.
That's it. And I suppose afterwards as well, in the tent, there was a barbecue, and there was speeches and a lovely presentation, and people got their medals and all that. There was a great spirit afterwards, wasn't it? And you made a good old speech there yourself as well. But it was also it was also good to see the likes of Peter Bracken there as well, a former player as well of his stature as well. So it was
Peter's great. He's a great advocate. He understands the value of sport, and he understands the value of sport for including everybody. But not alone that, like, he also brings another dimension to this, because Peter's interested in sustainability and the environmental impact that we all have, and especially sports clubs have, is something that, like, if anybody wants to reach out to him, he's a fountain of knowledge in that. But, like, if you add that, like, people who wouldn't have ever had the chance to be involved in sport is quite sustainable, so then they become less of a burden on our state, on our they become more healthy, they make healthy options. So all of this is great, and it was just great. Like, look, as I said to you, mixed ability rugby is very much a game of three halves, two on the pitch, and as you said, the last one was in the bounties. And that's what it has to be. It brings it back to that. And let's just face it, like, sports should be fun. It needs to be fun. Those that are at an elite level, it's a different game altogether. It's not the game that you and I will ever be able to aspire to, or should aspire to. And it's about just getting out there and having fun. And what we're hoping to do with this is actually just encourage both men's and women's teams. And I think if it's a call out for Anton from this, it's a call out to women. That mixed ability sport is a great entry point. There's no pressure. It's not like we overload competitions here. It's about fun, and doesn't matter your skill level. Really, really doesn't. Just what you get out of it, what you put into it, you get more out of it in terms of friendships and teammates and just good people.
And just to let people know out there as well, that there's many ways you can get involved. You can get involved in refereeing. I suppose, like Michelle, that was lovely to talk to her about being a female ref and what it meant to her, and how she got on. Lewis as well as a male referee from Ulster as well. So if anyone is interested in getting away and getting interested in any capacity, be it as a supporter, as a volunteer, maybe as a coach, or just wants to find out more information, there's there's Twitter pages, there's Facebook pages, there's a website, and of course on the IRFU website as well, and of course your own social media and website as well, Mixed Ability Sports Ireland as well, Alan.
Yeah. So look, we're on every social media there. Mixed Ability Sport Ireland or MA Sport Ireland. It depends with Twitter. But, like, other than that, like, internationally, you can go onto the international website, which is mixedabilitysport.org, and their page is /Ireland. But there's a wealth of clips on YouTube if you just put in Mixed Ability Sports. And also the resources available. Again, I'll leave my email with you and contact details if anybody wants to reach out. More than happy to reach out. Predominantly, like with rugby, we're very much concentrated on adult sports, and the reason being is that there is a massive fall off with adults engaging in sport, and then even more so if you have a disability. So, and also, like, it's just the pathway that we're working with. We're part of the adult rugby pathway for people within the IRFU. So look, that's pretty much it. Aidan, it was just a successful day, and we'll build. We keep building. We keep banging the gospel of mixed ability, and hopefully that more and more people will just cop on to this and realize that, like, this is actually great fun.
Yeah, that's right. And listen, well done to yourself, and of course David, and Niall and everyone else that was involved in organising it. Obviously the volunteers on the day, and of course Buccaneers Rugby Club as well. And long may it continue. And thanks very much for taking the time out to do the interview. And hopefully we'll be talking again soon, and we'll be looking forward to another tournament next year, or if there's any other events coming up throughout the year between now and the end of the year, we can have a chat about that. And of course we'll be chatting about it on Rosfm again.
Yeah, and just say, like, anybody there in Roscommon, if they want to reach out to me, I have a special place in my heart for Roscommon. I would have worked in the Brothers of Charity in Roscommon, Laneswood Street. So more than happy to at any point to have the excuse to go back up and visit a few people up there. So
that's it. And sure, if you're ever in Roscommon, we'll have a coffee or something, and maybe catch up with some of the people, the Brothers of Charity as well.
We will, surely.
No problem.
Thanks a million.
No problem. Thanks very much, Alan. And that was Alan Craughwell from Mixed Ability Sports Ireland. And we're just reflecting on last week's, on the weekend's rugby tournament in Buccaneers Rugby Club.
Hi, this is composer and rugby fan John Cameron from the country of William Webb Ellis, who first picked up the ball and ran with it, greeting you on this momentous occasion as Buccaneers Rugby hosts the very first all-inclusive rugby festival. I was honoured to be asked by World at Peace to write music to promote their pro-kindness and anti-bullying campaign, and with the help of my friends, emphasise the importance that inclusivity in sport and mutual respect has in building peace and stability. Firstly, here's Marcus Joseph, a talented young composer, arranger, jazz saxophonist, poet and rapper, who leads us on Peace is the Prize.
Yeah. Everybody get ready. Everybody on your mark, on the track, the field, the pitch, the full court, out on the bumper. Here it begins, where everybody wins.
Peace is the prize. Open your eyes. Peace is the prize. We all strive.
Hi, I'm Marcus Joseph. I believe in the transformative power of music and sports, especially within our schools. That's why the idea of linking them together with the message of peace and generosity to others really resonates with me. Music and sports have the ability to unite people, break down barriers, and foster a sense of harmony and teamwork. They provide an outlet for self-expression, teach valuable life skills, and promote physical and mental well-being. That's why I am thrilled to be a part of Action for Peace, an initiative that aims to bring these two powerful forces together. Action for Peace is all about promoting a culture of peace, understanding and compassion in our communities. Together, we can create a world where kindness and generosity prevail over conflict and division.
Carry the message, carry the prize across the
one. Hello everyone, how you doing? You're very welcome to this week's episode of Inclusion Rugby, the review, and this is going to be where we're going to look back at the All-Ireland Inclusion Rugby tournament that was held in Buccaneers Rugby Club last Saturday, and I think everyone will agree, including everyone that was there. It was very enjoyable, and I think all the players enjoyed it. It wasn't exactly the sun splitting the stones like it was in previous days or since then, but it was a huge success, and I think from a referee's point of view, I suppose just taking it from your points of view in the various provinces. It was nice to to see it from how it's going on in the different provinces and the progression of inclusion rugby. We'll start off with Lewis there.
Pleasure to be here. It was an absolutely fantastic day to been a part of the competition, and having refereed the World Cup in Cork last year, and to see that form into an All-Ireland competition this year, it just shows great progress in the sort of competition. And I've seen two in Ulster with Banbridge and Balloon, definitely both putting in the competition, but just the passion from the players was just phenomenal. So it's great to have great representation from Ulster in that competition as well.
That's it. And I suppose, like you were just saying there off air, that you really enjoyed it. And so tell us about what you really enjoyed about the tournament. I suppose, not only were you reffing it, but you were also taking part in it as a player as well, you were saying.
Yes. So it was put into the unlikely position of fullback. I'm more of a forward myself, but great to try new things. It's always good to try new things. Okay, I think just the whole experience, good to see some familiar faces for those who reffed in Cork last year and also played. So good to catch up with all the teams and the players and the fellow referees. And just despite the rain, just the passion just shone through from all teams who participated.
And so it was nice to play in it as well. And I suppose, Michelle, from your point of view, being a referee in Connacht, what were your thoughts on the tournament? And you played yourself there, and you didn't play too bad either.
Well, no, it was my first time to take part in anything like this before. I'm relatively new to the refereeing, so I wasn't expecting the standard to be so high. I know it sounds, it might sound such an odd thing to say, but I was expecting more touch rugby, but this was full on, full contact rugby.
That's it, and it was nice to see them enjoying themselves, and there was a wide variety of standards of players there as well, and for Buccaneers Rugby Club, it was like a League of Nations. We had to take players, I suppose, from a few different clubs, but they all enjoyed playing, and it was great to see it going through the day, and everyone enjoying it, the refs and the coaches and the parents, and it was very good. And there for Gareth, just to take up on that point, what were your thoughts on it, Gareth? Hello, Gareth. Okay, Peter there, and you were at it as well, and you were you had a really great day and really enjoyed it as well.
I did, Aidan. Yeah, it was great fun. Great turnout of players and officials and the whole lot. And we got rained on for the first time. I hadn't rained in about 2 months, so but it didn't spoil the atmosphere. And I really enjoyed watching the matches and helping out any way I could. My highlight of the whole thing, I think you were reffing, Lewis, if I'm not mistaken, but it was Banbridge were playing, Banbridge Barbarians were playing the Sunderswell Rebels, and I think it was the Banbridge lad scored, and he almost went over the far touch or the end goal area, but he didn't, and scored a try. I think 30 players from both teams celebrated. I celebrated. Everyone celebrated. But I think, Lewis, you went to the video ref, or whatever, just to make sure that it was inside the boundaries or whatever, and you gave the try in the end, and that got sorry, I got all excited there. That got a second roar of approval. So I just thought that the whole spirit of rugby and the whole fun aspect of it was brilliant the whole day, but that was my particular highlight.
That's it, and I suppose really looking back on it as well, the lead up to it and the organisation, there would have been a lot of organisation to be put in, from medals to, I suppose, arranging the clubs to come down and sorting out, I suppose, food and catering and all aspects of it. It was really well organised, I suppose, by Buccaneers Rugby Club, and of course Inclusion Ireland, including the people that were involved, like the IRFU, David McKay there, and Alan Craughwell as well. He played a few games as well and did well. So what are your thoughts on that, folks? We'll start off with Lewis again there on that.
Okay, it was just good just to be a part of also where as well as refereeing to play a game. So I managed to get a game with Malone Tornadoes against Banbridge for a good 10 minutes and all, and just to be a part of amongst the players and get to know the players. It's just, I think that's just what makes the tournament so special. You're not just, as from a referee point of view, you're not separated from everyone. You're well integrated with everyone, and to be a part of the spirit of the game as well. So it's just absolutely fantastic.
And yourself there, Derek, as well. What are your thoughts on the tournament in general, looking back on it?
I told it's very well run. We run, we call it mixed ability, but it's what the IRFU call inclusion rugby down in Corinthians. And what we found, and what they're doing in books, once you have a team like that, mixed ability, it brings in other players into the club. It brings in families, and it makes the club bigger. And when you have players like that, when you've been training during the week alongside other teams, they don't become the special needs players out there on their own who train on a Tuesday or Wednesday when nobody else is there. They just become it's just another team who train. And it brings people into the club. And tournaments like that, like they make clubs bigger than people think to do. People think it's just a one-off tournament, but no, it's got bigger effects than that. Don't families see that? Everybody can enjoy the club. So it makes the club bigger. It makes the club a better place to be. It makes the club a friendlier place to be. I think like that's what we found on the Corinthians. And you could see the way people were mixing the last day. Like it wasn't just the players; it was the people were down there attending them like me see what's going on. It just makes a club happier place to be. And like it's hard enough to get players into the club, but if you have a child or even a family member with special needs, and you get them in there, the rest of the family will follow. Because they'll see it's a happy place to go. And that's what that tournament was to me. It just made Bucks an attractive club to go to.
That's it. And I mean, we have to mention, the great facilities that were there on the day. I mean, three very good pitches as well, and very, very well organised. And of course, the catering as well. So it was great. What were your thoughts on it, Michelle?
There was a call out for volunteers earlier on, but when this was only getting off the ground, and it started off, I was going down to matches, senior men's matches, and friends of mine in the crowd, Lorna Stewart Trainer would be one, and she would go to somebody in the crowd, to hear we're hosting a mixed ability tournament. So it kind of started off that way. Word was spread that this event was coming up, and the list of people that jumped at the chance to volunteer at it was tremendous. There was no, oh, I don't think so, or maybe I can't. People just said yes straight away. And on the day, it was fantastic because there was 3 big pitches. So it's a lot of ground to cover. So I found the volunteers were there with their babes. They were helping people, showing them where to go. They had the pitches marked out. They had the signs, So without having all those people in the background, you wouldn't have been able to run such an event, so well.
Yeah, and I suppose really, now this year has been the benchmark now, and the future of it looks bright when you consider that everyone enjoyed it, and I suppose it was also the social aspect of it as well, Peter.
Yes, Aidan. No, the social aspect, there was great crack before, during, and after. And I didn't even stay for the absolute shenanigans at the end, but I heard there was it was massive, and everyone playing rugby, having a feed afterwards, and having a few pints and drinks together. So that's what rugby is really all about. And I agree with what everyone said there, and especially Derek's point there that it makes a club a better place if they have a mixed ability team. And I think one of the legacies from the tournament, and for generally having a mixed ability team, where I can see older retired players that there's no vets rugby really in Ireland. No real. I think it's an opportunity for lads and girls in their in their 40s, 50s and 60s that want to, or even 70s, to go out and play rugby, but not get smashed every week, and actually help other players that are very easily coached to do it. I think that could be a side effect of the whole thing. You could end up, with mixed ability, there's I think there's a need there for volunteers to help out, and there's an opportunity to get back and play some rugby. If you're that little bit older and basically too old to play competitive young man's rugby, or young women's rugby. So, great tournament all round.
That's it, and I tell you, it was fairly competitive in some of the games. There was no quarters asked or given, isn't that right, Derek? And what's your thoughts
Yes.
on the point there that Peter said there as well?
But yeah, I was going between the three pitches, and what you could hear an awful lot of was people laughing.
Yeah.
I remember Andy Friend came down to us one day in Corinthians, and he said, not everybody wants to play a high, don't like Peter was saying, high competitive, don't be bashed. Some people just want to go out, have a run, have fun. That's what makes clubs. I know everybody looks at the senior team, how they're doing, how they're doing the IL, but it's down. It's the teams further down. They're the teams that make the club. They're the teams that bring the social aspect to the club. They're not there to get bashed. They're there to have fun. Right? That's what people were doing last year. I know the matches are competitive, but they're still laughing when they were scored. And like everyone was happy about it.
Yeah. That's it, and I think that's the great thing about rugby, because I was involved with Frampton Cotter when I was in England as well, and that's where I trained to do what I'm doing as physio, and the great social aspect afterwards, and no matter where, everyone was treated equally and everything. It was a very, very enjoyable atmosphere at all the games, be it home or away, and I think really, as you said there, if the gospel of this was spread around to all the clubs around Ireland, it would be great, and it will be a great aspect to all the clubs, wouldn't it?
It would be absolutely fantastic, and especially how, from my personal experience, the past 12 months, the exposure of mixed ability sports and mixed ability rugby in Ireland has just been phenomenal. Now this is considering Cork having hosted the third edition of the Mixed Ability World Cup, going back to when it was first began in 2015 in Bradford, and then was held in Castelli Rugby Club in Spain in 2017. And how that has progressed into the exposure of mixed ability club. So it'd be absolutely fantastic to see this All Ireland tournament to expand from just the 6 men's team and the 2 women's team to hopefully we could try and get 12, 13 for both men's and women's games every year if possible. It'd be absolutely tremendous, and how this sport has evolved would just be absolutely fantastic.
And I suppose there, Michelle, taking up there from what Lewis has said about, there was a ladies' match as well, and that it was great to see that as well. As a lady yourself, and having been there on Saturday as well, it was nice to see that there was a ladies' game as well, wasn't it?
Oh, it was very enjoyable for me as another female player to see a ladies' game, but I would have loved to see more. So I'm excited that the word is going to get out there about this tournament, and you will have other clubs that have ladies, mixed ability, maybe older players that will see on YouTube, what went on last Saturday and think, wow, I'd like to get involved in that. So I'm hoping that more teams, get off the ground. So perhaps maybe you could have a ladies' day, where it's just women's teams, competing.
That would be a thing for the future.
It would be brilliant. And the showcase that was on that day was fantastic, because you had all sizes playing, doesn't matter if you were small or tall, everybody got a game, and it was brilliant to see.
That's it, and of course, the other thing that was great as well was the amount of photos taken, and I think they're all over some of the websites as well. So, and there was some lovely photos actually taken, even brilliant photos of Alan Craughwell there at one stage, and so it was great. It was great, and some very nice photos, wasn't there, lads? And Michelle.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fantastic. It was great, and I'm not too sure about how Alan would feel, but was able to look back on them earlier today. Actually, was trying to find photos of myself. Managed to find a couple of myself in that, just probably straight after that TMO decision as well. And
Definitely the best part of the whole thing. Sorry.
Oh, feel free
I was
to
almost
an
worried.
open forum,
I was
lads,
almost
so-
worried they were going to run past the dead ball line, but
Yeah.
but like the ability to look back and laugh at that little
Yeah.
spectacle, and just both teams were contributing to that and well in on it, and that was definitely what made my day as well.
Don't forget as well. Alongside mixability, there's also inclusion rugby. Don't enough like kids and adults have special needs where they have sensory issues where they don't like being touched at all. So you could have a mixability as was on Saturday, and the inclusion is tag. So the two of them can run side by side, and it all just blends in to one. So everybody, you can have two teams. You have two games running side by side. One where the fellas don't mind being hit, one where it's sensory, where it's just tag, and they just run stream. And the IRFU have been very good at pushing in the last year or two.
That's it, because I was actually at that tournament a couple of weeks ago in the IRFU High Performance Centre, and it was a very well run tournament.
I
met Dave at that, and it was nice to see him as well. And of course, another aspect to both, I think, was people that have never met before met, and people that haven't met in a long time. Friends from different clubs got to meet up with each other and have the crack as well as watching some great rugby. So it really was, and like Michelle said there, it'd be great now if there was a huge take up of women in both the inclusion and the mixed ability, wouldn't it? Taken up there, Niall. It'd be great to see an uptake on the ladies' game, wouldn't it? Both in I suppose in the mixed ability and the inclusion rugby as well, both in tag rugby.
Who?
Yeah.
Who we talk?
Yeah, you, Derek. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's good because the two run hand in hand, and they both bring people into clubs. And as long as you people come into clubs, you have people socialise afterwards. So just because you have special needs doesn't mean you can't have a pint afterwards down the bar. So if everybody trains together, they all play together, and then the bar is full afterwards. And it just enhances the club.
That's it. And if you want to talk to each other there as well, on any points as well, it's great. So is there anything else you'd like to say there, Michelle, to any of the lads or that?
Oh, just that when I came last Saturday, I knew very few people, apart from my own ARCB referees. But when I was going home on Saturday evening, I was getting offers of shots off teams. I was getting hugs. It was like I knew everybody all my life. So from starting out the day where I was a virtual stranger, I felt like I was going home with a whole new set of friends. It really was. It was like, there goes the ref, whatever. It was like, but, bye, Michelle. We'll see you the next time. So that was really, it was really a good thing to see.
That certainly epitomised the inclusion in it, that not just the players but everyone felt included on the day. And of course afterwards as well there was a lovely presentation about that. What were your thoughts on the presentation, Peter?
It was quite
Okay, there's a bit of an issue there with Peter's mic. What were your thoughts on the presentation? The presentation was lovely, and it was great to see. There was a barbecue and everything, and I think a few beers was had afterwards and all that, wasn't there, Lewis?
Oh, and great music too, as well.
Yeah.
Whoever was organising that as well. But what a way to end the tournament as well. People at the clubhouse being together. As Michelle pointed out, you go from a complete stranger to forming great friendships, and especially for me to rekindle with friendships from last year as well, and to have just driven down from Belfast early on the Saturday morning, it was definitely a brilliant day, well spent. and especially it was my first time being around that part of the island. So he's all welcomed me very warmly. So I'll definitely be back again.
That's
And
it.
another good aspect, another good thing from our point was there was two lads from our club, Michael Kern and Andrew Quinn, who went down as refs. There were two guys with special needs, and they were shadowing the rest on the pitch.
Oh.
But they came back. I was speaking to them during the week, and they were just buzzing from it. So even if you didn't want to play, there's loads of avenues. Now they want to come out to our club and start refing again, and that sort of like it just encompasses more than people think. It's just more than the game there. There's a huge aspect to it.
That's it, and hopefully now this will be a snowball effect, and it'll grow year after year after year. And yeah, just taking you up again there on that point there, Peter.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, great. Yeah. I think a shout out needs to go to Niall Quinn as well.
Niall Quinn was very good. Yeah.
Yeah, put a huge amount of effort trying to organise stuff and whatnot. Only for Niall, I wouldn't have known about it myself. So, yeah, I suppose there's a good base now to build on, and that's a great target. Lewis there. Have 12 teams of both male and female. So 24 teams playing next year. That would be awesome, and I think anyone that was there, and word has traveled. Like so many people have contacted me about it, and it could well have been a massive catalyst for inclusion and mixed ability rugby in Ireland. This time next year we could have 50 teams at the next one. Who knows? But a great start. It could really give it a good kick. And word spreads. And once clubs are doing it, the players will want games all the time. They'll love to be traveling all over the country or over the province or whatever, to play new teams and whatnot. So it's exciting now to see what happens in the short term.
That's it, and I'd like to touching on what you said there as well. I'd like to give a shout out to Niall Quinn as well. Without him, I wouldn't have known about the tournament myself. And we're good friends. We've been good friends for years, I suppose. We were county minor trials there for Roscommon there years ago, way back in the day in our playing days. But he's been very good to me, helping getting interviews for Friday Sport and things like that, and on the rugby perspective. And of course on Saturday afterwards, Peter, yourself and myself had a nice walk and a great chat on the way to the train station afterwards as well. And just a point I want to mention to yourself as well, Michelle, and I suppose that's the aspect of women, female referees as well. Wouldn't it be great to see more female referees in the game as well?
Oh, I would love to see it. Now we do have a few in Connacht. I'm not all on my own, but I'm forever telling, say, friends of mine that may have played or played other sports. I'm always telling them it's such a good community to join. There's great support. You're never on your own. You're not learning from a book, or you're learning from going to meetings, seeing people, and it's then when you go to games and sort of the kids see a woman referee, they're like, oh great, they're shocked and surprised first, but then they're so used to seeing me now. Oh, here's Michelle. So I want that not to be a novelty anymore. I want it to be the norm, that it's great that we've a woman referee. Oh, brilliant. So more the merrier, and I would highly recommend it to anyone that's even half thinking about it. Give it a go, because I guarantee you won't regret it.
That's it, lads. And to Lewis and of course Garrett there as well. Hello, Garrett, are you there? No, we can't hear him there. So, Michelle, I suppose from trying to, you could use this as a recruitment drive, I suppose, for female referees, but also Lewis as well there. If there are males or females that are interested in, becoming referees, I mean, it seems to be, it's a very tricky game to referee. I suppose it's such a technical game, but it's a very interesting and enjoyable aspect of the game as well, I suppose, from your point of view. So how, if someone wants to get involved, how do they take up or join to train to be a referee?
Well, sorry, Michelle, you go first.
Oh, thank you, Lewis. Well, I just happened to see a post on Facebook from the Connacht ARCB. So the different provinces will have, their own training, and they'll generally put out their posts on social media, letting you know there's referee course coming up. So for me, anyway, it was social media. I saw the post go up first, and the contact numbers will be in that, and just send them your name with, an expression of interest. You'd like to have a go. You mightn't necessarily want to do it. You want to see what's involved. So they'll invite you to come and watch a game, watch somebody in action. So, you're not thrown in the deep end straight away. You're invited to come watch, and then from there you do your course. You attend meetings where you do more learning. So you're constantly learning as well.
Yes,
I think a year later, I'm still learning.
That's great. And I suppose it's the same for the men's as well, or is it a central thing for the men's, or is it each province has their own officer, and you go to them and get the information from there, Lewis?
Well, and also not just my big focus would be also to younger boys and girls. So in Ulster, you have to be 18. You can start applying to be a referee from the age of 18. For me personally, I've been playing rugby from a very young age, and also we've been able to chat. We've thanked the referee after I played a game. We've discussed on any calls, just wanting to learn to be a better player, and that's progressed on to being whenever I went to university to apply to refereeing. So initially I refereed in England, and then came back to Northern Ireland, and been part of the Ulster Rugby referees for 2 years. And being a teacher, I really a lot of discussions from school children, both boys and girls. So it's kind of just spreading the word. It's not just it's not an exclusive club. Whether you're a spectator or a player yourself, or a coach, taking up refereeing adds another dimension of love to the game as well. And especially this year, I've been seeing we've actually had a few parents of students in my school have joined the rugby to be closer to their children, to the sport that they love as well. So particularly up north, we have our referee coordinator, Richard Curzo. So definitely everything's on everything's on our website, and especially in the other 3 provinces, and very easy to get access to, and everyone is approachable, easy to contact to. The responses are very quick, and posts on bi-monthly courses are available as well. So it's not as if it's hidden, the access to that. So
that's great.
For all that.
That's great. Listen, thanks very much, folks, and thanks very much, Derek, Lewis, Michelle, and of course Peter as well. And thanks for doing that, and we look forward to talking to you again soon.